Bulford camp, or if you're looking to see where your ancestors who volunteered, and I'm not sure of conscription, they ended up in Kiwi camp, Salsibury Plain, for training during the First World War. And this is an original store building. Well, as far as I can make out, it is an original store building. Very much original. Corrugated construction, very substantial steel sheeting. Looks about a 5-inch between ridges. I'm not sure what's inside, but we'll move the camera around and you can see the interior, hopefully, and just hope that I don't drop the phone. And there is the roofing structure, which appears to me very similar to other smaller buildings that I've come across. Here's another window. And if a spaceship could allow it, and those who were here were transposed back in time to the First World War, they would likely recognise and could explain the purpose of this building. I must say, as I'm thinking of it in those terms, it seems almost, well, how can I say, eerie to think there is those who are perhaps looking at a video trying to find out more about their relatives who they may have never met, but are looking for some physical connection of their being. And that sounds very, very deep, but that's the effect it has on me. The wonderment of knowing something about your ancestors. And if something physical that you see is able to perhaps explain that void which might be in your life, or my life, or anyone's life, but you sit and think. But looking at it architecturally, I think a lot can be learnt from this, particularly ventilation, and looking at the roof space and the ventilation, because the building's all metal, suffer a lot from condensation. And this period of time utilised the industrial sheeting to produce buildings. And I've made some other videos previously on the wood structure that is underneath the metal cladding. And I'm very taken with this building. Its sturdiness and the total proof that you can never paint corrugation. I like the ideas of the turned corners and very substantial nailings. These are beautifully strong nails, probably drilled in, overlapping, and very regular. See, the distance on these look about 9 inches. And it's a beautifully built building, quickly assembled but with a good finish. I say good regular finish to it, with gaps and distances and lines, and it has stood the test of time, which is over 100 years. So now I'm looking at the doors, and they're remarkably sound, good quality thickness. That is more than, I would say that's probably about 1.25 inches in thickness, and these are probably far greater, maybe 3 inches, but they certainly very substantial pair of doors, and they've lasted 100 years. And isn't that remarkable? Well, I think so. So I hope I've been able to inform and hopefully settle some uncertainty. The whole area now, Kiwi Camp, very little of it exists, but this, as I've cycled through in the past, is the most substantial building that remains, and probably for good purpose, because the area is still used for military, and maybe in 100 years other people, particularly Ukrainians, will be looking back for their relatives to gather some idea of where their forefathers trained for the present war which is taking place. Only the dead know peace.